Artistic inventions or artificial intelligence. What if we'll all change the world?
Storytelling. Humanity's greatest achievement. Through the forms of art, we've been able to tell stories of what was, what is, what can be, inspiring generations for thousands of years. This inspiration from stories has helped humans throughout history move forward through adversity and strife, sparking hope in the darkest of times, sparking feelings of loss in the brightest of times, and creating things that have never been told before. As time passed, we were able to create more and more stories because of the availability of the ways to record. Through books, paintings, sculptures, movies, and radio shows. We tell new stories each and every day. Now, however, there's a new way to tell stories without the human aspect. Throughout all of the stories ever told, one mind has them all and can create anything that you ask it to. This mind is artificial intelligence. Before we dive into what the 21st century has given us now, I want to talk about what it means to me to be an artist. Each of those artworks you just saw were all my own. I've been in love with art since I was first self-aware, admiring the work and patience that it took to create beautiful things out of virtually nothing. I still remember the first piece of art I ever made back in preschool. I painted sunflowers with a sky in the background, extremely proud of what I had made. Ever since then, I have always gone back to creating art. Whether it was painting, drawing, using crayons, it never mattered. But what it did to me felt like I was doing something kind to my own soul. The best ways I have learned the skills I have today is from copying from other artists, mimicking their skills while applying my own. This is actually the way most artists learn, because we're able to build upon the skills of the old masters before us with new tools, which has allowed the progression of art. This brings me to what we have now with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence works very similarly to how the human mind works. It can perceive data and patterns, recognize them, simulating them, and then recreating them. The AI scans millions and millions of different images that are on the internet, finding out any pattern necessary while learning all at the same time. This includes any image of any work of art ever done throughout history. And here are some of the latest images I've made using AI.
Clearly, these aren't necessarily the most serious of images, but I think it is funny in how you can prompt it to create anything. And if you look close enough, you could definitely see some of the things that make it clear that it is AI.
AI has helped in many ways, especially in my statistics class, where I probably wouldn't have passed a class without it. AI has helped me navigate new ideas and guided me creatively. I've been able to use it as a bridge to my ideas and what I'm trying to create. Here are some of the examples of using AI, both academically and creatively.
So here we are in Google Chrome. Sorry, I didn't know how to do the screen recording earlier. So, okay, here we go. ChatGPT. And so I have the premium one because it's helped me a lot with school. So here's my statistics language model, how to do stats, typical. It really does a great job. It can pretty much do anything. Help me pass the class. We are pretty lucky to have AI in our generation, especially in the college realm. As long as you don't use it too much and you're still learning the content. But here we go. We want to create a dragon that's blind or something like that. So yeah, you could come up with anything. I didn't know how to spell medieval, so we left that out. So we switched to Old English because that's kind of the same thing. hopefully. The dragon is blind and looks weird. So we'll see what it generates. So it does take a little bit. So let's go to Cookie Clicker. I love this game. Been grinding for a little over a year now. I think it's like at 380 days or something like that. So yep, we're just clicking. We're clicking. We'll check the other tab in a second. Yep. And yeah, it hasn't even started generating yet. It's still thinking. So go back to clicking. Clicking some more. We'll keep clicking. Like I said, it does take a few to actually work. So we'll let it generate. And I could honestly cut it out, but you know, I think it's fine. It's fine. Why not? So we'll let it keep going. Oh, here we go. It's starting to create. I should really cut this out. My time limit for the video should be around 20 minutes, but you know, go big or go home. Y'all get bored, you could just skip ahead. Skip, you know, however long. You know, I should have said that earlier, but yeah, here's a dragon flying over the weird thing. So yeah, that's how you do it.
The Art Renewal Center, or ARC, the world's largest traditional painting competition, accidentally awarded and purchased an AI-generated artwork titled The Witchling, violating its strict no digital elements rule. ARC promotes representational and skill-based art rooted in 19th century classical styles and awards $130,000 in cash prizes annually. The piece beat out 5,000 entries and was one of only 8 artworks purchased by ARC for its private collection. After backlash and public outcry, ARC issued a late announcement retracting the award, citing that the submitted image contained digital elements through the final painting was physically made. ARC claimed they removed the painting from the frame, tested it, and confirmed it was not a painted over print, though doubts over that remain. Some evidence that pointed to the use of AI, and you can see it clearly in the image I shared, was that the anatomical oddities, you know, such as an unnaturally long neck and misaligned facial features. That also includes the hairpiece, how it just kind of like on the right side goes wherever and doesn't really conform to any other piece of the art. There's inconsistent edge control where some edges were softer, some edges were a little bit more rigid, and that kind of indicated lack of understanding of form and light. HDR-like lighting, which is typical of modern AI generations and not of classical realism. Roughly 5,000 artists were outdone by Allison J. Barton, using artificial intelligence to create the Witchling. Artists who have most likely spent years or decades mastering their skills to be confident enough to enter the most prestigious art competition in the United States. This brings up the morality of using artificial intelligence in the art world. Is it okay to use AI as influence to create something? I would say that aspect is like most art. Having references is a game changer when it comes to learning. But using AI to completely copy something that doesn't look real is where things might be a bit morally wrong.
Continue their story with you, shining in new memories. Come find the piece that speaks to your heart. After years of crafting with love, the time has come to gently close.
A lot of people with a decent amount of creativity can go into the marketing field, where they can create, script, and direct advertisements for companies all over the world. This has allowed the modern age to find a monetary use of artists, since the world doesn't necessarily appreciate craftsmanship like it has in the past. What I am about to propose is that AI has endangered these careers so that companies can be more efficient and cut costs to increase profits. The story starts around the holiday season of 2024. Companies are advertising like crazy to sell their products during this wonderful giving season. Profits are through the roof. Children are happy, parents are broke, but there are some artists who are hurt during a time that should have made them happy. Coca-Cola released an advertisement that was made only using AI, where it was an uncanny creation that mimicked the vibes and works of the 1950s. Another advertisement from around the same time was created by Toys R Us. Not gonna lie, I really thought they had gone out of business, but here we are. They also created a vintage style ad where it tried to portray the creation of the company, but fails in a way by not relating to its audience. Now, I would like to present you all with the feedback from the general public as to what happened with these AI generated videos. The feedback was very negative. A lot of people really didn't like the way AI was used in creating these advertisements. They feared that this is what the future is going to look like. And the question is, will it? This is where we will see what AI has done to real people. Roxanne Lappa states, "The generative AI that left me truly unsettled, though wasn't one that made a beautiful end product. It was a website where you could upload 2 characters and it would remix them and spit out a bunch of variants. The end results weren't polished. In fact, some were outright janky, but the sheer creativity of it was alarming. Receiving so many options without engaging your brain for any creative work, well, she thought to herself, there goes concept art as a career." The greater problem is that if concept art isn't safe, no creative jobs are safe. And if no creative jobs are safe, then no jobs are safe. She continues to state, if a concept artist is tasked with coming up with, for example, some sort of frog monster, their job is to create a variety of frog monsters for the art director to give feedback on and choose from. When the concept artist puts pencil to paper or stylus to tablet, they have already looked at frog anatomy diagrams, observed a myriad of frog species, analyzed the environment in which the frogs live, and admired existing monsters that others have conceptualized before them. These references, along with other disparate real-life experiences from their visual library. From this, the concept artist remixes and creates original frog monsters never seen before. AI does something similar, except that its visual library consists of 5 billion images that were scraped together as data without consent, and it produces the concepts in seconds. This is bad enough, she continues to state. No human can compete, but it also goes the extra step of producing the concepts in the exact art style requested. These art styles were also scraped without consent. These are great points that were brought to light by someone who's been in the artistic field for most of their life. They have seen the inside scoop of the effect on how AI has affected the art world and how it has mostly negatively impacted the world around us. The world, however, is trying to create limitations on this technology. Brian Merchant has stated that video game voice actors have gone on strike in fear that AI could take their jobs away. Carl Ortiz, he's a plaintiff in a case against AI, one that is trying to find if there are any legal limitations to the extent AI can create things. Ortiz stated, there was a big question as to whether generative AI companies utilizing the works and data and names of people without their consent, whether that was okay in the eyes of the law, Ortiz tells me. There was the big lingering question of whether all this was going to be thrown out before we got to explore all that in the courts. And it's a really big deal because the judge found many of our claims plausible enough to allow us to continue to pursue this case, she says. And to say, hey, we believe it's not okay for multi-million and in some cases billion-dollar companies to use our works without our consent without our permission, without our knowledge or credit or compensation, and so on, to make extremely profitable models that generate imagery that feels like us and also competes in our own markets. We're here saying that's deeply unfair and that's not okay. The goal is to make artists allowed to have copyright claims against those AI works, hopefully deterring companies from immediately adopting this technology, keeping the jobs safe for artists, at least in the United States. I would like you all to reflect on what I've spoken about, hopefully allowing you to open your mind to what is really going on with AI and how it can be a great tool but easily abused by so many. A quote from Carl Shara states, "Humans doing the hard jobs on minimum wage while the robots write poetry and paint is not the future I want." This has begun to be more and more true as time passes, guiding us into a new realm we have never navigated before. From my own perspective, creating art is never about the final product. The part of creation that fills the soul is the journey it took to be able to make something and master the skills necessary. We've seen this all throughout history, from the stories we've been told, where one must master an art, despite the challenges and adversity it took to get there. The stories shape and inspire people to persevere through all hardships, knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and ultimately giving you something to be proud of. So all I ask is that the next time you open up an AI to make something for you, I challenge you all to pick up a pencil and try to learn how to make it yourself. Because in the end, you will be more proud of the work you put into whatever you make. Good luck and good day.